For 5 years, he's been a professional soccer player.
Wow.
Come on, that's ridiculous. So can we give it up not for the singer, but for his own self, Anthony Hamilton?
No flag. Y'all feel it? Wow. What is this voice? Lord, what is this voice that it should be lifted up to touch your ears? And what are these ears that they should hold the tone of your voice? Lord, what am I that my name should be lovingly perched upon your lips? What is this voice swept against the wind, this fading footsteps? Larynx thrust forth from pumping of lungs and beating of heart to make love auditory. The vocal idea of a particular soul. Verse springing forth from redundant chorus. Lying to fortify the walls of impenetrable ego, and weeping to tear down the illusion of strength. See, what is his voice? Stammering and stuttering from shame and unworthiness, born of illicit addictions and lies. This voice that screams out silence and across scarred, partially severed chords. This voice that screams and cries out in the smothering embrace of pillows and on linoleum bath tiles. This voice that stirs within me, but just like the proud tide, it defies gravity and fails to touch the shore of its beloved. This voice is mine. Cracked and parched, fading in its strength, it's a crescendo of pain and joy and longing and anger. For often damned are the wholehearted syllable stirring within my diaphragm. For with you I wish to speak. With you I wish to encourage, I wish to love, I wish to impart a sense of your unknowable beauty in the eyes of God and man, but I can't speak. Well, why? Why this retrospective desire amidst sovereign moments lost? You see, why am I afraid to dance? I who love rhythm and grace and song and laughter. Why am I afraid to live? I who love life and the beauty of flesh and the colors of the earth and sky and sea. Why am I afraid to love? I who love love. See, Lord, you said that if we believed on you, that out of our bellies will flow rivers of living water. So I would declare that you are my salvation. And I would say that your spirit within me is like a wellspring with the volume of the ocean that sits beneath a waterfall. And I would declare that this voice is a holder, a carrier, and perpetuator of life. And of the darkness that so readily engulfs my soul, I will proclaim. Get away from me, loneliness. Get away from me, misery. Get away from me, sad thoughts. My life ain't no tragedy. Be gone from me, shame-faced, because I'm marked by his majesty. And get off of me, bitterness. I traded glory for apathy. You see, I found what this voice is. This voice is a pitcher of water in a dry and thirsty land. And see, we are of a nature that we don't fill our pitcher in order to speak, but we speak in order to fill our pitcher. See, out of the heart flow the issues of life. Nourishment for self and healing for others. See, at the end of the day, a waterfall with no water is just a cliff. And a voice without knowledge of self is a conveyor belt, transporting a sequence of words. But you see, our lives are meant to be love poems, not dictionaries. See, when power leads man toward arrogance, poetry reminds him of his limitations. And see, See, when power narrows the area of man's concern, poetry reminds him of the richness and diversity of his experience. When power corrupts, poetry cleanses. But I think it's pathetic that I call myself poetic, reflecting worldly aesthetics of alphabetics juxtaposed to theoretics. You see, the illusions of light surpass the optical. Philosophical teachings are supposedly a window into the metaphysics of ontology, but quite possibly the malfunction for which we unction conscious thought can be explained in systemic compositions of slavery. You see, in the shackles of our perception, we succumb to a system of domination and subjugation, revamped and redefined by every generation. And to exemplify the mystified bonds of our falsified reality, we take our ability to physically move and we translate it as power that is protruded for effort that we exuded for purposes we concluded are worthy to be included in time we call our own. You see, in crowded streets, we stand alone with the proclivity to feed the very industries that cripple our souls, never satisfied by all that we touch because it's never enough, but instead weighed down and filled with shame to this refuse we clutch. See, truly mine was an upbringing amongst this fatherless generation of men taught never to shed tears. And if you sit still and listen, you can almost hear the gentle whispers in our ears. Evade reality at all costs. Gain the whole world when all is be lost is your soul. Shout and voicedly extol that you're the one in control. Exude a proficiency to be a self-fulfilling entity dwelling freely in captivity. You see, my spiritual ambivalence just doesn't make sense. Ever since I heard that it's a paradox we call reality, so keeping it real will make you a casualty of abnormal normality. See, I found a fallacy the greatest proportion of my mind's distortion seemed to knock me off my feet like a spinal contortion. But perhaps this was my portion to spin out of control and extol the sincere longings of a broken soul. Just another piece looking for a hole to fill the hole left by my malevolence, decadence, and precedence, reflected by my hesitance to cleave. You see, it was spiritual foreplay without wanting to conceive. See, I believe that when I receive truth, I'd be free from this enmity within me, but I guess just like a seed is cultivated and grown, perhaps my various parts are meant to be shown. See, it's been my curse to perfect the submersion of the unknown. Man, I'm so self-conscious that my subconscious is vain. But nevertheless, because of a man slain, risen purpose to reign, I'm no longer called by the same name. And now I can dismantle the mantle and see their souls are scantily clad. And after being tattered and torn, perceive new nature reborn. Still forlorn to an extent, clothes rent, body broken and bottled, but I see myself no longer with matter-of-factness. And the blackness of my skin doesn't personify wickedness that abides within. And I can see through shadows of oblivion and rise like ancient Abyssinians, effervescent, all comprised and decrepit in demise. Now you can see love in my eyes. It's no longer fear and death in disguise or clear unrest to the wise. See, where could I begin when sin entangled, disheveled, and strangled my vision with juxtaposition of flesh and spirit? Do's or dies, the difference between truth and lies. See, death, the notion of ceasing to be, vexes me. But frankly, I speak not of death as a physiological realism, but rather that of divine altruism dispersed to the mortally infected, affected, and resurrected. See, death is an eternal connection to reality, and reality isn't real until it borders mortality. Thus, the fallacy appeals and reveals the totality of flip-flop morality when you see that perversion is really holiness upside down. See, in truth, only dead men see his face. See, lest the corn of wheat fall to the earth and die, it abides alone. But through death and redemption, through Christ's full ascension, his fruit manifested and grown. See, he came not to bring peace, but a sword. And he came as a lamb and a lion at war. See, I'm not scientifically inclined nor emphatically benign to the persuasions of what men know. But there's one peculiar reaction that's forever pierced my heart, though. He did this black man in red blood, and my soul came out white as snow. And now by his mercy will I take my cross, hate my life, and die. Because my heart of hearts, he's faithful to consume and sanctify.